sent on Wednesday.
I was explaining that.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
After this change. It wouldn't be big enough.
Yes, correct.
That's school, so I don't get it.
That's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna leave some.
We're ready.
All right.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 7:01.
All right, just before I call the roll, it's good to be back in this room with the planning commission. It's been a while. Jenna's out on leave for a little bit, so I've stepped up for tonight. Just process-wise, I am representing her recommendation, her notes, so we're not changing course in the middle of it. We're gonna go straight through that item of business as she recommended we proceed. And I'll do my best to accurately represent her thoughts. So, Ms. Stubblefield,
Present.
Mr. Ashley,
Present.
Ms. Capel,
Present.
Mr. McDade, Ms. McNatt, Ms. Mumford,
Present.
Mr. O'Connell,
Present.
Ms. Peel,
Present.
Ms. Ray.
Present.
You have a quorum.
All right, do we have any citizens' comments? Nothing? All right, well, let's move on to new business, letter A. This is the variance request to subdivide the lot at 7 Center Street.
And I know the planning commission doesn't regularly hear variances, and so just for the rest of the board that I haven't had a chance to talk to, and for the audience, normally a variance from the zoning ordinance goes to the Board of Zoning Appeals. But the planning commission has special powers by state law, and you guys have complete control over the subdivision ordinance. And so the application approval of all subdivisions goes through you guys, and so that means you hear a subdivision variance rather than the BZA. The BZA gets to do it a couple of times a year. They have kind of a formal process. You guys don't get to do it as frequently. So if the chair is agreeable, we can adopt the BZA process. And that's basically, I'll take the first turn. It's usually 10 minutes or less to present the city's position. And then I'll cede the floor to the applicant, who will have 10 minutes to make their position. And then we open it up and you guys can ask questions of either party. We try to limit that to 20 minutes or so, and then call for a vote. And if it goes, and if it doesn't, I mean, that's not the law, so you can stay all night. Does that work?
Okay, that's great.
All right. Time myself.
Excuse me. I'm gonna have to relieve, or leave. I can't stop this cough, and it's gonna bother everybody.
Okay, sir, if you'd like to, we will mark that down. So,
I was looking for one too.
thank you, Mr. O'Connell. So, just walking through the packet, the first thing on page 2, some of you guys have front and back copies. But on page 2 is the public notice. So, Jenna was required to advertise this in a few ways. She had to notify the neighbors, she had to post the properties, assign all the property, and she had to put it in the newspaper. So this is the notice that went out into the world in preparation for the meeting. And basically it describes the properties and what's being asked for. It's an invitation so people know what's happening here tonight and they can come out and give you guys some feedback. Next we have the staff report, which I will get to in just a minute. That's page 3 and 4. Afterwards on page 5 you have the county GIS map, pages 5 and 6. And there's 2 maps showing 2 different properties. One's at 7 Center Street and one's at 9 Center Street. 9 Center Street is the corner But I think for this discussion, it may be more helpful to refer to this hand-drawn beauty here. This is an illustration of what's actually being proposed. So right now you have the Sand Dollar lot shown, Sand Dollar and House, Center Street, West Ashley, and the empty lot on the corner. There's a, I'll call it a vertical line running from Center Street to the alley that separates those lots right now.
Say that again, please.
There's a vertical, I'm calling it vertical, a vertical property line that runs between those two properties from Center Street to the alley. That's the solid line running through the middle of these lots on this drawing. What these guys are asking for is to shift that lot line and make it a horizontal line across the middle of the lots. The number of lots will not be increased. The relative size of the lots is not being increased. It's two lots the same size. They'll just be oriented towards West Ashley rather than skinny towards Center Street. So that is the ask. Does that diagram make sense to
Yeah.
everyone?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I got it.
they help me to
Yes,
that's
you need
not-
copy?
Thanks.
So another and kind of important thing to note for the record and for anyone who's unaware of it is that the zoning ordinance contemplates this situation, and normally what you guys are talking about tonight would be completely exempt from anyone's review. There's a specific exemption written into the subdivision ordinance that talks about the combination, recombination of portions of previously platted lots where the total number of lots is not increased and where the zoning administrator determines there's no significant changes to or encroachment upon the public street systems and where the lot sizes comply with the standards set forth in the zoning district where the land is located. And it's that last clause that captured these guys. Center Street is platted differently than the rest of the island. The standard residential lot on Folly Beach is 10,500 square feet. Way back in the beginning of the ordinance, it says a minimum lot size is 10,500 square feet. So 95% of the island, you have two willing owners, or one owner who owns two properties, and they want to shift the lot line. As long as the number of lots isn't increased and the size of the lots doesn't change, Jenna can sign that all day long. The reason we're here tonight is because these are commercial lots which are platted at a much smaller size than general, and the zoning ordinance did not carve out an exception for those. It was just a blanket rule applied to everything. So in a way, it's a technicality, but it is still a technicality. So that puts us in a situation where they're asking for something that's not explicitly allowed by the subdivision ordinance. And in order to do that, you have to prove or establish a factual basis that this request meets 4 criteria that are laid out in state law. Jenna's staff report is here, beginning on page 3, going over to page 4. So the section I just referenced is 162.03-07B3A. And the specific variance would be to the clause at the end where the lots meet the minimum zoning size requirements. These lots will not meet the minimum size requirements for Center Street because none of the lots do. Well, a few do, but none of them were platted that way originally. The first condition for a variance is that there's something extraordinary and special about this lot that does not generally apply to lots in the area. In the area, it's not defined. It doesn't say within 150 feet. It doesn't say within a mile. It just says generally apply in the area. Certainly, the broader you consider the area, the more clear, or the clearer it is that whatever's happening on this lot is not happening on the majority of Folly Beach. But even within the commercial district, Jenna believes that the situation here with a residence behind a commercial use does not generally apply to lots in the Center Street area. The house here behind it's Revelry Brewing. Well, it's now Revelry Brewing. You know, that was the closest example, and that's no longer used as a residence. Now it's Revelry Brewing. So Jenna's saying that the extraordinary condition on this lot is that it has a residential use behind it that needs access. Right now, because the way the lots are configured, that house is on the Sand Dollars lot, but to actually park their cars or get there driving, they have to cross the corner lot. They've been using a believe an informal, possibly a formal agreement for many, 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 many years that that lot has acted as a driveway and parking for the house. Now the lots potentially be sold and that house would be landlocked. So Jenna believes that condition is unique in the sense that it's not generally applicable to the rest of the properties that front that avenue. And certainly if you blow it up, even a block, you get to, all the lots have street access, or two street accesses even. So once you establish that there's an extraordinary condition, you have to show that it's not the result of the applicant. These guys did not build the house. It's been there, or especially the folks who were applying for the variance, they didn't build the house. Certainly the lady next door who has an empty lot didn't build the house. It's not, it's there, they inherited it, they did not create it. Next up, once you say there's a special condition, say that the applicant didn't do it, you have to demonstrate that applying the zoning ordinance as written would unreasonably restrict or effectively prohibit the use of the lot. That's a big one. A lot of times people say you have to drive it all the way down to 0 before you've effectively prohibited any use of the lot. The unreasonable restriction is not clearly defined in law, it's a case-by-case basis. So you don't necessarily have to say you can't do anything, you just have to make a judgment. Do you believe that applying the zoning ordinance would unreasonably restrict it? And in this case, prohibiting the subdivision, allowing that vertical lot next door to be sold would effectively cut off the street access for the house behind it they've enjoyed for the last 50, 60 years. So Jenna believes that removal of convenient access by car would be an unreasonable restriction on the future use of the property if we did not apply this variance. Next, you have to prove that it's the minimum action required that will fix, to cure the unreasonable restriction. And in this case, the only way to cure it is to provide street access. And this is truly just shifting the lot lines so they have two the exact same, both will have the same amount of access on West Ashley. It's not giving more to one or more to the other, it's just flipping the lot line so that both uses have street access. And Jenna believes that is about as minimum. I mean, you can't do anything less than that because then the house doesn't get access at all. The other two are kind of a blend of state law and our local zoning ordinance. The authorization of variance will not result in a substantial detriment. This effectively will not change anything about the situation. It's how it's been historically used. It's how it could be used in the future. It's not creating any new sort of condition that's going to alter the character of the commercial district or put undue stress on the street system, the water system, the sewage system, pedestrian access. So there's no harm created by this action. And lastly, you need to demonstrate that it's generally consistent with the purposes and intent of the ZDO. Sometimes that's overly broad, and sometimes that's kind of so narrow. How do you work within it? I think Jenna did a good job by identifying the stated purposes of the zoning ordinance. And one of the explicit purposes, just explicitly stated at the beginning of the zoning code, is one of the reasons why we have zoning is to facilitate safe and convenient traffic and access throughout the city. That certainly would apply here because you're preserving street access for a residential property. And also there's a general one, this orderly development. I think the street access is a stronger one, but certainly having two lots, just reorienting is orderly development also. So those would be Jenna's staff report for the reasons why she believes and recommends that you guys should grant the variance. And my time is up. So I will now seat the floor. And Mr. Pence, if we'll just kind of go through what I just said, but from your perspective as the applicant.
Okay, and this is a first for me, so bear with me. I'm Keith McCann. I represent the owners of lot number 7, the Weatherfords, the estate of the Weatherfords, and also lot 9, Virginia Dimitri. We are asking, well, the original plat for Folly Beach, the original development plat, had every lot on Center Street is 37.5 feet wide by 130 feet deep. These two lots currently are exactly that. Through the years, there have been some subdivisions, and I gave y'all some examples of 13 Center Street. That's actually a 37.5 foot wide lot by 130 feet deep. And it was subdivided in half, and there's a little alleyway that goes down the side. There's a restaurant slash bar in the back, t-shirt shop in the front, the Palms, I think it's called. And then Woody's is another example. It used to be a 130 foot wide, or 130 feet deep, 37.5 feet wide, and it was subdivided. But now the second lot is considered 103A West Huron. Both of those lots, four of those lots that I just talked about are 2,700 square feet total or less. The lots that we're wanting to just change the lot lines on are 4,800 square feet. So we're not really changing, they're still 0.112 acres. We're just changing the line, want to change the lot line. So it'll be consistent with how the property's been used for about the last 45, 50 years. The owners of Lot 9 inherited the lot about almost 2 years ago. And they inherited from her sister, I think. Virginia Dimitri inherited it from her sister. And they knew the relationship that her sister had with the Weatherfords. And they had a lease in place. It was a nominal lease, and it allowed them to have access to the lot and to get to the back house, and to also have the little patio out to the side and the gazebo for people to go outside and for the sand dollar. And so with Virginia knowing the relationship that they had with the Weatherfords, she wanted to, try to work with them when they decided to sell. It just so happens that they had decided to sell at the same time. And so that's really what we're asking for, is for the lot line to be changed so it's consistent with the way the properties are being used. And we're not asking for a zoning change. Like I said, not changing the size of the lots. Let's see. And I think that's all I have to say. Do you have any questions for me?
So you're representing both parties, right?
Yes.
Everyone agrees?
We need to ask for,
Yes.
And when you guys are ready for discussion.
We need to make a motion. Yep, sorry.
motion to approve the staff recommendation per the based on the factual findings.
Got it.
Does
All
anybody
right.
else second that motion?
Second.
All right, discussion. So my question was, there's obviously a perceived change in value, probably splitting it differently? That's okay with everybody?
Yes, it's okay. They just want it to be, the last thing that the Dimitris want to do is have a buyer come in, sell the property, and that buyer does not grant them access.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they're respecting that relationship.
Okay.
So I have a signed note from the Weatherfords, the estate, and also Virginia, to allow me to do this, and we're all in agreement. And like I said, they've all worked together with the with the potential of selling both lots.
Okay. If both parties are in agreement, it's fine with me.
Yeah, I have a couple questions too.
Sure.
And first of all, good to see you guys here. an establishment in Folly, and y'all done daddy well. Like, so we're all here to continue to support whatever's best for, whether for family and the history here, and also what makes sense. So it seems to me that, just, Aaron, some of these questions might be for you. The lot size isn't gonna change. They're both gonna remain commercial, even though the small house is being used as residential, it can be either. So is it a rental right now, a long-term rental? No, I mean the little blue house, there's somebody living in it, nobody living in it?
My father lived there for like 4 years.
Yeah, okay. I
We
didn't
just use it, we just use it as an office, run the business out of, that's where we all park at.
And then currently, my understanding that there literally is just no driveway and no parking, so if you wanted to use it for something, like, for a long-term rental or whatever, there's no way somebody can even park in there if we
No,
don't do
they
this,
couldn't.
right?
Right.
Let's make sure I understood that. And then, more for you, is there a certain size of building that could go on it, any bigger than what's already on there?
Yeah, so, referring back
Smaller.
to this masterpiece, the lot coverage in the commercial district right now is limited to 50% of the lot area of either lot. So if you look at it as is, the Sand Dollar, the actual building of the Sand Dollar takes up, not exactly, but very close to 50% of that lot, and the house is kind of extra. So with no change, if the house went away, it could not come back, because it would be over the lot coverage. If you rearrange the lots, there would be some room to build something extra on this lot because the house does not take up 50% of the new lot. If you just look at it as a blank slate, a terrible disaster strikes Folly Beach, there's no difference in what could be rebuilt on these lots because you would have two lots of the same size under the same restrictions that they are now. So as is, you're kind of stuck with the house here. You can't add anything extra to this lot. You can only do something else over here. But if we're looking at complete redevelopment of the site, or even new development, I mean, this lot today is entitled to a building as big as the Sand Dollar.
Right.
So if you don't make this change, there's nothing prohibiting someone from building this square as a building. And if all the structures went away, then they would be entitled as two lots to exactly what they're entitled today. Two roughly Sand Dollar sized buildings, probably of multiple stories, but they've got that entitlement already anyway.
Cool, that's what, thank you. And it wouldn't be, it couldn't further subdivide anyway, it can only be divided into two, and this line makes sense to me.
Anyone attempting to further subdivide would be right back before you guys, but they would not get the benefit of the doubt of, they're not changing anything. Then they would be increasing the total number of lots.
Cool. Any other questions?
I have one. Is this something like asking for a variance like this? Is this something that, since it seems like there was a mutual agreement between both property owners,
Right.
that they could have done this themselves, like prior to selling, and been like, why don't we go ahead and change the property line like before? Or does a sale kind of trigger something like this? Is that usually the flow of
Even
it?
if the property wasn't for sale and they were agreeable as neighbors, they wanted to do it, it would still be the same technical requirement for a variance. It doesn't matter that you want to do it, it matters that the ordinance doesn't allow it.
Right, okay.
So if they had gotten together, sometime between 2010 when the zoning ordinance was amended and now, and said, hey, we'd like to move this lot line, we would have had to tell them, sorry, the zoning ordinance has that lot size requirement, so you gotta go to the planning
And
commission.
this would have been the same ask anyway, just, okay. And then moving this, I mean, I get it, it makes sense, I guess. The fear of any time moving like a property line or whatever is, okay, now is there gonna be like this gigantic thing built? But ordinances sort of regulate that anyway, and with the size of this lot, it's just, it's now gonna be just wider, but because of the size of the Sand Dollar, it takes up more than 50%. You can't also build something, do you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
so on the new lot, whichever lot, wherever the Sand Dollar is, either
Yeah.
vertically or horizontal, there's no room left on that lot to build any additional
And
impervious
to add
surfaces.
on, like
Right.
you couldn't add a whole nother building onto that because now that's part of that lot,
Right.
like you can't, okay.
I'm
So you're
sorry.
not gonna increase density at any,
Not, well, density and lot coverage are two different things.
right,
Um,
right,
But but they're both determined by lot area, so even density wouldn't change,
okay,
you know. But, we'll just make sure I'm being clear. Without a lot line change, this lot where the Sand Dollar and the house are now, they're locked in, no additional lot coverage. But when the house comes on this new lot, let's just say the house, instead of being, pushing this lot over 50%, that's gonna count towards this lot, and it's probably only gonna be 30%. So there may be room on the new lot to add something in addition to the house. But those two things cumulatively won't be any bigger than the Sand Dollar.
Or knock down the house and build something
Yeah,
bigger.
or knock down the house and build something the same size as the Sand Dollar.
right,
But to go along with that, the person who currently owns the empty lot has the right today to build something the
Right.
size of the Sand Dollar. So, if they sold them separately, there's nothing prohibiting this person from building a Sand Dollar sized building right
right
here.
there. Which one becomes 7 and which one becomes 9?
Or do they both become
Or do
established?
they,
That's a great question.
Well, my thoughts on that, well, you go ahead first.
Yeah, we go to addressing, but I imagine that the Sand Dollar would stay 7 Center Street, and this would become something.
West
Might be West Ashley.
West Ashley,
Yeah.
okay.
Probably be West Ashley, just like they
Like
did
103.
with Woody's. The lot behind it ended up being West Hudson.
Okay,
Kind of like
So that would be mapping.
the
I
food
think.
truck lot is actually 103 West Erie,
okay,
where the Pineapple Hut
Uh-huh.
is. So it'd be something like that.
something like that, okay, okay. I guess that would change all of that, okay.
Darren, one more question too. I was worried about what sets a precedent, so it's really extenuating circumstances which brought it here to us. So anything else would be really an extenuating circumstance. It's not setting a precedent that the city is
Right.
gonna be stuck all of a sudden going, well, you did this over and over.
And I don't have the state code pulled up with me, but variances in particular do not set legal precedent. Variances are custom things based on a custom set of facts applicable at a certain time to a certain place. And so there's no legal precedent by granting a variance. And it even says in the state law, you can't use the fact that a similar variance was granted to make an argument for your own variance.
Helpful, thank you.
Question. The premise is that the lots are the same size. I can't determine that looking at the plats. Are you, Aaron, do you have assurance that those numbers work?
We've got the
0.112.
survey, yeah.
We have the survey with the.
Yeah, I'm looking at your survey, and it could be I just can't see it
Yeah,
on there.
yeah,
Very small type.
they're both 112 acres. The square footage on one is 4866, and the other one is 4868.
Oh,
So square footage.
I think that's close enough.
Yeah, that's still considered .112.
So rounding error.
Is the exhibit 14, page 14, showing that? That's,
I'll try to pull it.
Oh.
Oh, was that one of your examples?
I think that's my example.
that's an example?
Yeah, see, that's the one that was done on 13
okay.
Center Street. And those lots ended up being, this one's 2,700, that's the brewery in the back. And this is the 13th Center
Gotcha.
that faces.
Okay.
Miss Harvey's house at Sanitary now. Sanitary used to be the only restaurant on Center Street. It was pretty much City Hall back in the day.
I remember the sanitary.
Miss Harvey lived in that house behind it, just like my father lived in the house behind the Sand Dollar for 40 years.
We still miss the
I think
sanitary.
I'll get my computer so I can zoom in.
Yeah, I wonder, does that property line cut through any of the building?
No,
No, no, sir.
no, it's.
Boy, you guys lucky on that.
I know, but it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
While he's getting that, what are the current, like, when your dad was there, was it just sort of an understanding with, the others that you can park in my yard?
Him
Or
and Bill Lowry were very good friends. Bill Lowry inherited a lot 45 years ago from his uncle. And him and Dad were very good friends, and he told Dad, do whatever you want with it, and then, you know, we laid it down the road, a little bit of leash, we give him a little bit of money, not much. They had a handshake agreement, and when he passed on, it went to his sister, which her son, Peter, runs her estate. He said, I'm gonna honor my Uncle Bill's handshake with y'all. He was a great man, I respected him, I respected your father. We're gonna honor the deal they had as long as y'all will keep it. People were trying to buy it from them, they said, we're not gonna sell unless y'all wanna sell. So they always honored the handshake they had between each other.
At least for now, I would say it preserves it the way it is.
Exactly.
That's the way the property's been used for 50 years.
And, and related to that question, Mr. Ashley, in this zoning district, there's a 0-foot setback. So as long as it doesn't actually cross through the building, it's fine if the buildings are on the line.
On the line. It also looks like the dumpster pads gonna be on the other piece of property now. So you're gonna need to relocate the dumpster. How are you gonna get access to that?
From the side, from the Ashley side.
From the Ashley
The
side?
same way that they did
So you
when
put
it was
it
back there.
behind the wooden fence?
Yes, sir, that's where it's at.
Right now, it's south of that,
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Or
right.
west, whatever.
west of that.
Yes, sir.
So now you're gonna, okay. So where it says outdoor bar shed, your dumpster pad will be in front of that?
Yes, sir.
So there's some,
No, cause it'll be on
Well,
this lot, not on that one. It'll have to be moved over.
Yes.
so
It's not a big
are
deal.
there rules about dumpster pad enclosures and things that'll come into play?
Yeah, the DRB would have to approve it.
Okay, so that's another hoop.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I see them, the dump truck pulled up behind the railroad, the driver has to get out and actually push it, it's on wheels, and push it out, just so he can dump it,
Yeah.
behind the bounty bar.
but what you're saying is that after the line is redrawn, the dumpster pad is on
The new
the
property,
Right.
other
The
property,
house
not on the
property.
Sanders
Right.
property.
yeah.
So zooming in, it looks like 4868 and 4862.
Well, that's really close.
Enough that they're both listed as .112.
For,
Can't you give them each 3 more feet there, square feet? What else do you see? that we
Any
did?
other questions or discussion? All right, well, the motion is to approve the variance request agreeing with the findings and facts of the staff's recommendations. Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Bray,
Yes.
Ms. Peel,
Yes.
Montford,
Yes.
Ms. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Ashley,
yes,
Ms. Stubblefield,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, letter B, amending commercial uses to allow outdoor retailers in the corridor commercial zoning district. Now, y'all don't leave, you won't wanna miss this.
I know, this is really important.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Absolutely, thank you all very much. Have a great night.
You too.
Good night.
Good to see you again, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate you guys being on this.
So,
I'll take care, have a good night.
Good night.
next up, we have the required public hearing for an amendment to the zoning ordinance to allow outdoor retailers.
Question, sir?
Before you move on, I guess I'm new here, but my understanding, this was a public hearing.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
there was never an opportunity for anybody to speak.
The
We actually
citizen,
called for citizens' comments at the beginning of the meeting.
Wow.
yeah.
That's when you're supposed to speak to a public hearing?
Well, you
Yeah.
don't have to, actually, we can do citizens' comments, and then if we're having a public
I thought that was
hearing.
just general comments. I didn't think that was
So
part of the public hearing.
I apologize for the confusion.
Okay.
Are you in opposition?
I was not necessarily in opposition. I just had a lot of questions.
All right,
So that's, and I'm just trying to learn the process as
Okay.
well.
Now, that does
so-
bring up a good point. If you have questions during a public hearing, they need to go before before we get to the public hearing. Because when we have an actual hearing, we're just supposed to hear. Does that make sense? We're not like,
Well, it does. I mean,
So-
Public
So-
comments
so
is
the-
open, but
Yeah.
questions to
In
be
general,
answered.
for all of our public meetings, we call for comments at the beginning, if anyone has anything related to the item of business, when they're invited to speak, in terms of identifying questions you'd like them to ask, that's appropriate, but in asking questions of the board, we don't allow questions to the board during comments.
And mine was not just, and most of them were raised by the gentleman. I had concerns about the back of the property and stuff like that. So I apologize. I mean, I guess I didn't know.
Sorry, I apologize too, and if you'd like, if there's anything they didn't ask, you can feel free to ask me after the meeting and
Okay.
I'll relay.
Okay. I do apologize.
That's all right, you're good.
I
Well,
misunderstood.
thanks for asking who did.
Okay. I apologize for interrupting you.
okay.
Yes.
Madam Chairman,
Being at the meeting.
can you rephrase that again? Because I don't understand what you just said.
What's that?
In terms of his question, could he have talked where it was citizens' comments?
Yes.
Yes.
sir.
So
Anybody can.
he missed that announcement that now's the time for citizens to talk.
And the clarification was,
Yes.
it's a time for comments, and he can say, hey, board, I
The
want
way
you to
Folly-
ask to speak.
The way Folly Beach structures their meetings is we open the meeting beginnings with citizens' comments, and anyone who wants to address anything on the agenda can speak.
So that was his opportunity to talk. So there was an opportunity, it was just missed.
But we do also, not in this meeting, but sometimes on our agenda, there's a like an official public hearing.
I got
that's-
that.
Would
I
be
understand.
later in the agenda, and they would have the opportunity to talk then as
It's a
well.
separate
Okay.
item.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, here, and now you guys are here to review a proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance to allow outdoor retailers in the commercial corridor district. This one, I think a little more straightforward. This is a public hearing because it's an amendment to the zoning ordinance, so if you have any questions specifically related to the rezoning to allow outdoor retailers, here, come on up. Just-
Yeah, mine.
yeah. Just say your name and address for the record.
My name is John Kersner. I reside at 321 West Ashley. Again, only since November 1 of last year, so that's why I'm here. I'm trying to learn. My only real question there, I couldn't really I guess my question is, I'll get directly to it. And I'm not in opposition or anything, just question, Folly Yard is proposed to be at Third Street West. And my understanding that's a food truck. Do they need to get a variance, or is that gonna be allowed? Because it appears to me that food trucks are only allowed basically on Center Street, so is that gonna be?
I'll address that.
Okay, that's,
So, in regards to the Folly Yard is granted as a concession franchise from the city.
okay,
So our ordinances prohibit commercial activity on public property unless city council creates and grants a franchise. So late last year, city council created a franchise for someone to be able to operate a concession stand at Third Street West. We had one historically before the franchise ordinance started. And after they created the franchise, they put out bids, solicited bids, and Folly Yard was the bid selected. So that was specifically authorized by council.
Okay.
And it's on public.
okay, thank you.
So, but, as mentioned, currently, outdoor retailers are limited in their location in the city. They can only be on a lot in front of Center Street or East Ashley. On the left of East Ashley, there's no limit on the number other than the requirements. On the right, it's in the Island Commercial District, so they have a few extra limitations. But basically, first block of East Ashley and Center Street are the only places outdoor retailers are allowed. I want to say last year, may have been 2 years ago, but I think it was last year, we had a property owner, Treasure Island, folks who own Treasure Island, and operate Treasure Island. They came in to apply to have a food truck, and said, I'm sorry, they're not allowed here. Your options are X, Y, Z, and one of them is to propose an ordinance amendment. In the short term, they repackaged it as a special event, which city council can apply, or can approve, and presented it as a trial run for food trucks at Treasure Island as a special event with a limited run, I believe, of 6 months. The council approve that to see if there were any complaints, how to go, et cetera. Trial ended. To my knowledge, the city received no complaints about food trucks operating at Treasure Island. And she came back, I'd like to keep going, was at this point, you can't authorize it, you need to have the ordinance amended. So council remanded this to you guys to consider allowing food trucks in the corridor commercial district. One important point to make, and I believe Jenna highlighted it in her memo, but just in case, is that would expand to all corridor commercial properties, which include Harris Teeter, Treasure Island, even some of the condo complexes right on Folly Road. So it is a blanket allowance in that zoning district. If you guys choose to recommend that council any conditions, you can certainly do that. Council can put conditions on it. But I just want to highlight that it's not just at Treasure Island, it's for all the commercial. And one other thing, our current food truck ordinance was written based on the fact that they would be operating on these small substandard Center Street lots. So there's a requirement for outdoor retailers that you can only have one for every 2,652 square feet of lot area, which is roughly 1/2 of the Center Street lot. And also you can't have more, well, that's the big one. So on a corridor commercial lot, like the Harris Teeter, it's several acres in size. Allowing one food truck for every 2,652 square feet of lot area could create a situation where legally they can drop 20 food trucks out there and still be compliant. So for your consideration, and it doesn't have to be determined tonight, we could ask that council look at the lot area requirement in the corridor commercial district, or put a cap, no more than 4, that sort of thing, because certainly the lots out here were never intended to have 50 or 20. Or maybe you guys think that because Harris Teeter has a big, huge parking lot that's not always full, it's the perfect place for 20 food trucks, and that's where they can do the food truck rodeo. It's kind of your discretion. But that particular requirement, I wanted to highlight. The rest of them, requirements for restrooms, requirements for fencing, that sort of thing, don't really change the character of it, but the lot area restriction does. But that's how we got here, and that's the ask from council is that you guys review allowing outdoor retailers in the corridor commercial district.
Okay. We have a motion to approve.
What are we-
Motion to approve. Oh, sorry, 92nd.
What are we approving?
Well, we only to discuss it, so we're not.
We have to put the motion on the table, second it, and then we're allowed to discuss.
Who's that?
Understand.
Karen.
So I do want to point out that I know from a towing incident that Harris Teeter does not own that parking lot, it's a third party. So I definitely would want to make some kind of amendment to how many, the square footage you have to have a food truck, because they could have a ton out there to, I mean, not that I care about Harris Teeter's feelings that much, but, I'm gonna take up most of their parking lot if they wanted to.
First, are we missing the other piece of
Yeah,
this
we are.
map?
Yeah, I think she provided that map to show you where they're currently allowed, but it doesn't show where they could be allowed, so I can pull up the
Yeah. is that-
zoning map.
Aaron, a question when you're pulling that up, on the map we have on 25, so would the corridor be, is that basically second to second?
Actually, it's off, it's the stuff on the causeway.
So that one is what it is on Center Street now, and it's not, that's how it already is.
Right,
What we're asking to change is not even on that page.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you.
yeah, but
Yeah.
if it wouldn't that expand it?
Mm-mm, no, ma'am.
It
So
wouldn't, so it would keep this Center Street, it wouldn't then impact.
Nothing on
That
the main
one,
island
okay.
would change.
But to your point earlier, so basically the properties that would be impacted that could are the ones on the map. So Harris Teeter, Treasure Island, and then across from Treasure Island is whatever that is,
We
right?
call it,
Pelican
we call
Point.
it the Henry Edwards property, which is the wooded area at the corner of Tillmarsh.
Okay,
Um,
where the entrance.
The apartments are not in Folly Beach, but the
Oh,
the
okay.
vacant lot to the north of it is.
Does it
Um,
also, okay.
Sorry, can you see because of the glare?
Like, yeah.
So I'll come down. So we got Henry Edwards' property, which is across from Treasure Island. It's about a 4-acre wooded lot. Treasure Island, Harris Teeter. Technically, Kings Flats is in the corridor commercial
I was about
district.
to ask that too.
But they're also governed by a planned development agreement, which would prohibit it. And we skip down and we have the Clam Farm, Waterfront Point Villas and Waterfront Villas 2, Marsh Winds and Turner River. So all
So
those
you could do food trucks,
at Turner
say if you
River.
were to max it out, you could have them there.
But the condo association would have to approve it.
Would, okay, right.
If the
right.
condo association approved it, you could, in theory, have one in the parking lot of Turner River, in the parking lot of Marsh
But they're not gonna
Winds.
just be popping up without their permission.
Yeah, they won't just show up,
Right,
for sure.
right.
So that's the full extent of the corridor commercial
Okay.
district. Did you see that?
Yeah, thanks.
So Henry Edwards, Treasure Island,
So you don't have to
Harris
repeat yourself.
Teeter.
I'll come around.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
There you go.
There goes my battery. Okay. Treasure Island, Harris Teeter, Mr. Edwards' property. Clam Farm, Waterfront Point Villas.
Wait, so are you saying there's orange here? That's
Yeah.
not gonna,
That's technically in the corridor commercial district that is governed by an HOA. I
Those
don't
are
know the
condos right
HOA's
there.
rules,
Right.
but in theory, what this ordinance would do would make it legal for them to do it. Marsh Winds and Turner River.
What about the, like the access to the Clam Farm Marina, the boating area there, the docks? you know
Mariners
what I'm
Cay?
saying? No.
I mean, it's technically, it is technically
like
in.
across from the river.
Yeah, it is, this map doesn't show it, but it is technically, that strip of land comes down and that's a private dock, so that's technically also zoned corridor commercial.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, Matt,
That changes things.
Matt,
Some of the
yeah,
ways
what's that?
you could address that is you could limit it to, for example, on East Ashley in the Island Commercial District, you can only have outdoor retailer on an island commercial lot that has a commercial parking lot with at least 10 spaces.
Okay.
So out here, you could say not on properties with multifamily housing, that would knock out all condos.
Yeah.
You could say only properties over, however big Treasure Island is, 2 acres, that would knock out
Harris
all the
Teeter.
condos. We'll keep Harris Teeter because it's bigger, so that sort of thing, or you could say 1 per 2 acres. and
One
that
per
would,
acre.
You know,
or
or what, you know,
Don't-
because that would knock out all the condos, 'cause that
Yeah.
would have enough land.
How many acres is the Harris Teeter parking lot?
I don't know, so I'll look that up.
What, do we know more than 1 per acre and then max of 4 or something like that?
Is there a staff recommendation on this?
I don't think I saw one.
She left that.
I
to you
think
guys.
like, seems like the most important thing is limiting Harris Teeter, right? Like, how many they could have. And
Why,
then,
why would that be important?
well, so you don't end up with 20 food trucks. I mean, not that, you know, because now that we know it's not owned by Harris Teeter, it's a privately owned or owned by somebody else lot, it might be worth limiting that, so you don't just open it up and all of a sudden it looks like,
There's enough of a traffic jam there on a busy
right,
Saturday
on a
already.
busy
We don't need
Saturday, you've
40
got people
cars
pulling
off.
in, I
Well,
mean, there's a
square
light right
footage-
there,
There's
so.
square footage requirements for each one.
Well, but if we keep it at this,
It could be-
then there could be a ton, depending on how big Harris Teeter lot
That's what I think we
is.
need to put a maximum
Yeah.
of certain number.
And then,
One lot may have one outdoor retailer at a time for 600 square feet.
so think about Harris Teeter, how big that is. We probably have a good many there, and then the other part, if it's like an actual paved parking lot, like thinking of the Clam Farm, like, I mean, right now there's a bunch of pipe and stuff stored right there. you know, but,
Harris Teeter has 9.6 acres.
so how many, let's say, if it was that, how many would that be?
for lot, 16 per acre.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
oh my god.
I mean, that's just the
People trucks in
mathematical.
but there's a
Maximum,
limit
it's not
because Harris
probable.
wants parking for their people.
So
Well, no, they
the,
don't own the parking lot.
the
They don't have-
clam farm space is
We have
that a
to
whole?
treasure-
trucks.
Treasure
Big truck.
Island has 2 acres. Mr. Edwards' property has 4 acres. It's, I mean, again, these are mathematical maximums, it's woods right now, I don't think anyone's gonna put a thing. But for context, Treasure Island has 2 acres, Harris Teeter has 9.6 acres.
What about
If
the
you made it
clam farm?
1 per 2 acres, then you get 1 at Treasure Island, 4 at Harris Teeter, and none at the condos.
One per, you said
2 acres.
one per 2 acres.
The
How does
clam
this-
farm property is just like half an acre or something small, or is it bigger because it has marsh attached to
You're
it?
talking about the strip of land.
Where all the pipes are right now.
Because we wouldn't want one there, and people be pulling off.
What's
Well, that's
right
what I was
at
thinking,
merge,
pulling
too.
off and trying to pull back in, and
Yeah,
then,
somebody's
now
gonna
somebody's
wanna
gonna try to
see
take a left.
Isn't that right at the
Something
merge,
like
the
that.
zipper merge too?
Yeah, yeah.
And your recommendation to council could simply be that they address that issue. I mean, you don't have
Yeah.
to solve it today and.
But if we say it has to be a minimum of 2 acres,
And a paved lot.
And a paved lot.
And a paved lot, then it would take out, like, that random strip he was saying, all the way to the merge and the lot of the merge.
So maybe work it
I mean,
backwards and look at.
Actually, it might knock out the
yeah, okay.
Crosby's though.
But
right?
think of
They're not
this,
paved.
so the way they presented
Crosby
the,
is not in the city of Palm Beach.
There you go.
So it sounds like maybe working it backwards, looking at what properties it's not suitable for
Mhm.
globally first would be important.
I think
And
it's
I'm-
only appropriate for Treasure Island, Harris Teeter, and if they want to, that lot across the street that's wooded now, if they decided they wanted to have something there
Off the island.
off the island, right?
But they
And
have
is
to,
that
But it would
really,
be changing we have to put the language in there, because we're talking about changing the corridor zoning, which would impact everything, so we gotta put enough of the.
would,
if
say if this were happening, would they have to reach out to the people who live in Riverfront, like that neighborhood right there, to be like, how do you all feel about that? Like, would there be any communication? No, because they're not,
They're not in the city of Palm Beach.
would we
Before
do that
our-
to be a good neighbor, to say, hey, this is being considered, you all, you know what I mean? I mean, I
What
think,
would be, place a
like,
food
if,
truck
you
on the
know,
lot?
yeah, like,
Oh, no.
No, I mean,
Once
they
it
have,
becomes once it becomes a legal use, there's no requirement to notify the neighbors. If you have a right to build a house, you're
Right.
not required to
Well-
notify the neighbors you're gonna build a house.
right, but, okay, I guess what I'm saying is maybe some of the people in Riverfront might want to be aware of this happening. They might have an opinion of what they'd like to see,
they had the
you know.
same access to this information for this
Right.
meeting that everyone else had.
right? Okay.
I would
I guess that
wonder
would be my argument.
if we get to 40,000 feet and look at this, why would food trucks scattered all over be a good idea?
It wouldn't, that's
That's
what I'm
what
saying.
I'm-
Treasure
Food truck
Island,
operator.
Harris Teeter. That's
You
it.
know,
kind of
and why,
point.
why food trucks at Harris Teeter would be a good idea? I don't
Why not?
understand that.
Well, Treasure Island had the one,
Well, even
They
that, I
wanted to
wonder
keep-
about.
There are people that do, I mean, think there's, need to be more options, and especially if you're stuck in traffic like that, and you didn't plan accordingly, you can buzz off and go get something to eat, when you know you still have a long ride ahead of you.
Grab and go.
I guess
Grab
for
and
me
go,
would be why
exactly right.
not.
I don't know, does that really contribute to the vibe of downtown to spread that out? It's sort of,
Absolutely.
I
And
would have,
caters to our beach
I would
goers.
wanna look at that from that point of view.
I also
And-
consider,
Well, to Mr. Ashley's point, we have received no opposition to this. We've also received no testimony in support. So far on the public record, we have the owner of Treasure Island.
Period.
Who did a test run and,
Right,
you know,
right. So, I
with
mean,
one truck, right, for 3 months, I think, or 6
or
months.
6. So you are correct that we don't have people here tonight advocating for food trucks, but we have had a request.
So, Aaron, if this was denied, just to stop future, we could make a recommendation to council and put that cap or whatever we come up
You
with.
guys can make any recommendation you'd like, and it could be as broad as, we recommend that council approve this with limits on the number, to, we recommend council approve this with one food truck for every 18,232 square feet with a maximum of 7. You know, it's, you guys have complete leeway to recommend with whatever conditions at whatever level of specificity you want, because these guys have the final authority to actually enact it.
Aaron, with that, just process-wise, if we had recommendations, it would need to be that we approve it with, address these.
Right.
If we say, if tonight, we're like, does it make sense, and we say no, it still
You
goes.
can certainly, you
it'll
can
still go to
recommend it,
council.
you can recommend to council that they not approve it until further study. They're not bound by your recommendations.
Seems
I
kinda
would, I
complicated.
would like to promote food trucks. I think they're great. They're a great stepping stone for entrepreneurs to start a business. It's a great sense of variety. It's a great idea, but not everywhere. So don't, you know, I don't want to think that I'm opposed to food trucks, but scattering them out is kind of weird to me. We have a downtown, it's vibrant, it has people there. Having food trucks for someone on the side of the road, well, I don't know. That's just me. I would wonder too about the hours, no later than 10 except for food and beverage sales. I think we've got enough folks can get drunk after 10 o'clock with the bars we have.
Oh, they would not have alcohol sales.
Well, and so,
And just to be clear, those hours are for all food trucks. I mean, that's already the rule for food trucks.
Except food and beverage sales?
Right, that's not, well, outdoor retailers, yeah,
Okay.
so food trucks, I use them interchangeably. But these rules, the only thing new here is in red. The and corridor commercial.
I got
That's
you.
the only new language here. All these other things are already existing and in place for outdoor retailers.
So the only change to the whole is the quarter.
Right.
Oh. Okay.
I'd be open to, like, my position, I'm with you, I'm happy about the idea of more food trucks. I would just, one, I don't wanna pull too much business away from the existing bars and restaurants. We have 15 or 16 places to buy food on the island already.
Our
Two,
parking
I'm
is
with
so
you.
limited, though.
It's so limited, totally agree. And also, when you are stuck in traffic, as we all have been for an hour, and you missed Harris Teeter because you're afraid you lose your spot in line, but then you finally make it a little further, or whatever. I mean, it's great to do grab and go, a few of them, so. The way I feel is, I would love to recommend that we approve it, but put those limitations in. There's no more than X number, not 20, like no more than 3 or 4. And, certain lot size. And then I think this is probably a no-brainer, but if I'm a resident in any of those condos or multi-family, I wouldn't want food trucks all of a sudden in my parking lot of my home, or even the vacationers might not want it. It's gonna take up parking spot for vacationers too. So I don't know if we have that, but do we put language in there on that, or do we say it must be approved by your HOA, or is that automatic? I don't know.
I
The
would, that
zoning
language.
doesn't overrule HOA.
Right.
so-
Yeah, I mean, the HOA may want to have a community event with a
Mhm.
food truck too. You never know.
Madam Chairman, do I understand that the motion is to approve the language and the commercial corridor?
Yes, and we can make a motion to amend if we want to add any language to that. Otherwise, if we were to vote now, it'd be whether or not to recommend this to council, yes or no.
Just
And
those,
that's it.
just that words.
Mhm.
And so if you have a specific recommendation or a broader kind of categorical recommendation, you can make a motion to amend the motion and say, I recommend that we approve the ordinance as presented, and that council further study the number of outdoor retailers on a lot, or, and that council limit it to 3 on a lot. It's kind of the path the commission wants to take. So if anyone has a specific limitation that they'd like to propose, or a category limitation, you can make a motion to to amend
And they
the
would have to
motion, then we'll
have,
discuss that motion.
they would have to have restrooms, like a porta potty, just like they do on Center Street. And it would have to be screened in some way. I'm not against it. I would just say that no more than one per acre or something like that.
Yeah, some sort of.
With a maximum number
So,
of X
Do I
for,
hear
to
a
handle
motion
your
to
security.
amend the
So,
motion?
Well, just wanna kinda
I'll
like
make a
feel everybody
motion.
out on us.
To
Well,
amend
Just for the porta potty.
the motion,
Yeah.
All right.
right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh,
So-
that's right.
And you're saying one per acre, but then
Maximum
minimum
four.
or maximum?
Well,
One sec.
can
So,
we
Ms.
make
Ray,
it, go
What
ahead.
would you like your motion to be?
I make a motion to approve with amendments.
Just motion to amend.
Motion to amend, yes, and the amendment being, and I don't know, do we need to get specific about
that-
lots?
is that-
I
is
think
that
we
what
maybe
you guys-
leave it kind of broad,
If you leave it broad, you punt the conversation to council?
you know, like,
They're still gonna have the conversation, so I just think as good stewards, it'd be great for us to do a lot of the
I mean, we
thought and
could-
make a recommendation.
so, okay, right, so let's make the recommendation to 1 per acre, does that, yeah, 1 per acre,
With a cap?
With a cap.
with a cap,
Maximum.
Of
with a maximum of
4.
4.
Because that would end up putting, if we, 1 per acre, maximum of 4 means that Harris Teeter could have no more than 4.
Right,
Correct.
that seems,
That-
yeah,
that's what we're
that,
trying to-
that
And there's
feels
others that
correct.
don't even have an acre, so they wouldn't
So
even.
then, we yeah, we kind of get
So
rid of
that's,
that.
I've got a motion to amend recommendation to 1 per acre with a maximum of 4. Do I have a second for that motion to amend?
Yes, second.
All right?
Okay, so
Now
now we're
we can
voting
discuss it.
only on adding that amendment to the original motion, but not voting on the whole, yeah.
And
Is there
if we want
any
to add
further-
other amendments, do we do that?
Yep, we
Next.
just keep going down the list.
So let's do this
Any
one.
other discussion on the number? That motion,
Then
the limit?
no more than 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion on that?
Mm-mm.
All right, so just on the motion to amend, Mr. Ashley,
No,
Ms. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Mumford,
Yes.
Ms. Peel,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Stubblefield.
Yes.
All right, so that motion passes. So
And that amendment was exactly one per
one Per
acre.
acre with a maximum of 4.
that motion allows food trucks at Harris Teeter.
Yes, and we were saying a maximum of 4 though.
I voted against that, obviously.
So now we're back to the main motion, which is now as amended, motion to recommend approval with the limit of 1 per acre or maximum of 4. Are there any other limitations or recommended changes that someone would like to motion for?
Wait, can you just recap for us exactly which properties have at least 1 acre though, so like,
To the best of my
who-
knowledge.
who's it left
standing-
out,
yeah,
though?
To the best of my knowledge, standing here, you know, there is no
Eyeballing.
study of this.
eyeballing?
So we know Treasure Island, Harris Teeter, what I'm referring to is the Henry Edwards property, which is currently vacant. Those all are confirmed to have more than 1 acre.
Is the parking lot at the merge, or the zipper merge? Oh, no, that's the last place I want.
But now this
Bottles.
is,
Anyway,
all this
private?
is,
Actually, that
Does
is,
it belong to the clearing?
so, that's a good question. So that parking lot right there at the zipper merge,
You mean
at the
where the
bridge.
boat ramp is?
you-
Yeah.
Where the
Where
boat,
where the dock is.
Where the dock
Yeah,
is.
that's,
So-
that's the Clam Farm docks.
so I was gonna say, that's owned by the owners of the Clam Farm properties, right?
And they're allowing the city to store the water pipes there?
And a lot of that water pipes is there and also in the right of way. The property lines for that, most of that is in the right of way. So the property lines are closer to over where the docks are. And due to, let's see, that parcel also has marsh on it, so it's showing up as, it doesn't split the high ground acres. It's not an acre of high ground.
Okay.
So that's off the
Is that
It's off the table.
matter though?
Unless
Is that
someone wants to specify that.
not gonna be like a technicality?
Yeah, now we need to amend the motion to say high ground.
high ground
Okay.
only.
per
That's-
acre
that's a
of
good-
high
No,
ground.
That's a
that-
good
you don't
point.
want that right next to the
Yeah.
bar.
So Ms. Ray, you got that motion? Is there a second to the motion to amend it to 1 acre of high ground?
Yes, second.
Any further discussion on that motion? All right. Mr. Ashley? This would be to amend it to the 1 acre
1
applies to
acre,
the
yes.
high ground. Ms. Capel?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Ms. Montford?
Yes.
Ms. Peel?
Yes.
Ms. Stubblefield?
Yes.
All right, so that passes. So now the main motion would be to allow outdoor retailers in the corridor commercial zoning districts with a limit 1 per acre of high ground, a maximum of 4.
Any other amendments? No.
Just a question. This map shows the commercial district on the island? Is that with a black line around it?
That shows where food trucks are currently allowed, which is lots that touch Center Street in the first block of East Ashley.
Should we have a conversation about their hours of operation since they can be open as late as they want or as early as they want? Maybe not, but maybe. We're considering neighbors in this.
I don't
I mean, I
think that's under our scope right now.
It's part of the ordinance.
Well, is-
Probably, we're, so we're making some
Okay,
recommendation. It's just a recommendation to you.
Yeah, I just
Isn't
wanted to
this-
bring up the point, just 'cause I don't want.
Might this all be moved if the Harris Teeter owners say, I don't want food trucks?
Sure.
Yeah,
This is only making it available if someone chooses
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
food trucks.
Right.
So it's
Allowing
not
something by
forcing.
zoning doesn't overrule the will of the owner.
Yes.
On the time, I guess is the question on people stopping on the way home, after already
Being
leaving the
loud
island.
right after, late hours.
Right now, it sounds like it's very much limited to the Harris Teeter Treasure Island and the land across from it at this point, right? Or
Mhm.
the, well, condos too.
Yeah, would that be, yeah,
Yeah.
they would put the hammer down on that.
Yeah.
really. All right, well,
All right, so.
we're gonna vote
that'll
as
bring us
amended.
all the way to the motion as amended. And just for the record, the motion is to recommend the ordinance amendment to allow outdoor retailers in the corridor commercial zoning districts with a limit in the corridor commercial zoning district of 1 outdoor retailer per acre of high ground and a maximum of 4.
And Aaron, that does not impact number 3, that's the 2625 already, because that's just,
Well, that'll be, that amendment will amend that section, and there'll be a new sentence in red that says in the corridor commercial district.
Okay.
that's the
Okay.
picture, so it's literally this one,
So that
1
stays-
per acre high ground max of 4 is only related to the corridor, the extension of the corridor, because
Okay.
these
So
are still in the
26.
corridor.
Right, yeah.
26, 25 stays.
3 will
the same.
actually, 3 will go to have an A and B.
Okay, okay.
Right? Is everyone good on what the motion is?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Mumford,
Yes.
Ms. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Ashley,
Yes.
Ms. Peel,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Stubblefield.
Yes.
Motion passes as amended.
All right, other business, are there any commission comments?
Good job, Aaron, you did a nice job, holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Jen is out.
It's easy with, easy working.
I have a comment before everybody leaves.
I have some staff comments too.
I wanted to take a minute to recognize Greg Anderson, who's a really long time planning commission member, and he passed away recently. So I just wanted everybody to recognize the service he gave to our community and serving on the planning commission for years. He really did, so.
We love you. Thank you.
And a hearty welcome to our new members.
Welcome.
And officially to Amy coming back.
That's right.
She's back.
Jenna asked me to remind you guys, or maybe inform you for the first time, have you guys talked about the Beaches 101 class with Dr.
Yes.
April
Okay.
15th, right?
April 15th at 9 a.m. All board members are invited. We're gonna start that here in City Council chambers, and then the next part of the class will go out towards to the beach.
And she got it approved for.
Yeah, and she did, I was gonna
For
say,
it
she
to
got it
count.
approved, so it will count as your continuing training as board and commission member. And I believe we're gonna invite city council to that too, if you guys haven't already gotten it.
How many hours is that?
Three.
So it's all three?
9 to 12.
I think that'll clear you for the year, it's
Yeah.
a continuing member.
So it'll go from 9 to 12 that day,
Um,
you think?
I know it starts at 9.
Okay.
It counts for 3 hours of education.
There you go.
Okay, but we don't know the
Where
end,
does it
what time.
start at?
Here.
Here.
Yes, ma'am.
April
Yeah,
15th?
she'll do like a lecture format, beach management techniques, science, that sort of thing. It's fascinating. I don't know how much you guys know about Dr. Elko, but she is highly, highly regarded in her profession. She's nationally famous. So a master class from her in beach management is a treat. The second announcement I have, and it's just preliminary because we don't know exactly, but there may not be a May meeting because of lack of staff. I'll be out, and Jenna will be out. So we may not have a meeting in May, but we'll know soon, and we'll let you guys know.
And as far as we know, June or July, we should be starting the whole comprehensive plan.
Master plan for Parks and Recreation. I know she's recently communicated with the COG about that, so, and the steering committee, did you talk about, you guys have talked about the steering committee? I know they're working on settling the details on that too, and when I get them, I'll relay them.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Excited to be back at the planning commission.
You missed this.
Church services.
Got too busy running monthly council meetings, Aaron.
I do think that she also